Stories have the power to transport us to new worlds, spark our imagination, and teach us valuable lessons. But did you know they can also help you master spoken English? In this video, we'll dive into a wonderful story that not only entertains, but also helps you improve your vocabulary, pronunciation, and fluency. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey as we learn English through the magic of storytelling. Meet Joe Black is a story about love, loss, and the meaning of life. It begins with William Parrish, a wealthy and powerful businessman who is about to celebrate his 65th birthday. He is a man of great success, admired by many, and deeply respected. But despite his achievements, he is a man with worries. He has been hearing a strange voice inside his head, whispering to him in moments of silence. The voice is mysterious, soft yet powerful, and it fills him with unease. He does not understand what it means, but it makes him feel as if something is coming, something inevitable, something he cannot escape. One evening, while sitting in his study, William suddenly feels an intense pain in his chest. It is sharp, unbearable. He gasps, struggling to breathe. The voice speaks again, calmly but firmly, telling him that his time is near. Then, as suddenly as the pain arrived, it disappears. William is left shaken, unsure of what just happened. Meanwhile, in a small cafe in New York, William's youngest daughter, Susan Parrish, is sitting alone. She is a doctor, intelligent and kind, but she feels something is missing in her life. She is in a relationship with Drew, a man who works for her father, but she does not feel truly in love with him. As she sits there, lost in thought, a young man walks in. He is handsome, charming, and full of life. Their eyes meet, and there is an immediate connection between them. They talk, and Susan feels something she has never felt before, an unexplainable warmth, a sense of destiny. The man is playful and curious, and he seems to be just as drawn to her as she is to him. They share a moment of laughter, a moment of longing, but then he leaves. Susan watches him go, feeling an aching sadness, as if she has lost something before even having it. As the young man walks away, fate takes a cruel turn. Just moments after leaving Susan, he stops at a street corner, looking thoughtful. Suddenly, a car speeds towards him. He turns around, unaware, and in a split second another car hits him from behind. His body is thrown into the air, and he lands with a force that leaves no doubt. He is gone. The world moves on, cars pass by, and the young man who had just shared such a deep moment with Susan ceases to exist. Later that night, William is at home when he hears the voice again. But this time, it is not just inside his head. It is real. It is in the room with him. He turns around, and there, standing before him, is the young man from the cafe. He is alive again, but he is not the same. His eyes are different, calm, knowing, otherworldly. He introduces himself in a simple but terrifying way. "I am Death." William is stunned. He cannot believe what he is hearing. But the man, Death itself, explains that he has come for him. It is his time. However, he is curious about the world of the living, about human experience. He wants to stay for a while, to observe, to understand. He tells William that in exchange for more time, he must act as his guide in the human world. William has no choice but to accept. Death chooses a name for himself, Joe Black. From that moment, everything changes. Joe Black moves into William's house, and no one knows the truth about who he really is. He is quiet, watching everything with deep curiosity. He is fascinated by food, by the way people talk, by the smallest things that humans take for granted. Susan meets him again, and she is confused. She recognizes him as the man she met in the cafe, but something about him feels different, almost unnatural. Joe does not remember their conversation, their connection. He is like a blank slate, experiencing life for the first time. Yet, despite his strangeness, Susan is drawn to him. She feels a mysterious pull toward him, something she cannot explain. As days pass, Joe begins to experience emotions he has never known before. He is death, an eternal force, but now he is feeling human desires. He finds himself mesmerized by Susan's kindness, her beauty, her way of looking at the world. For the first time, he understands what it means to want something, to want someone. He and Susan spend more time together, and a quiet love begins to bloom between them. But there is an innocence to Joe's love, a childlike wonder, because he does not fully understand what love is. William, on the other hand, is growing more and more troubled. He knows the truth. Joe is not a man. He is not human. And he sees the way Susan looks at him, the way she is falling for him. It fills him with fear. He does not want his daughter to love death. He does not want her to lose herself to something that cannot stay. Meanwhile, in the world of business, things are becoming complicated. Drew, Susan's boyfriend, is growing more ambitious. He is trying to take over William's company, using lies and deception to gain power. William, already burdened with the weight of his secret, must fight to protect everything he has built. But Joe is not concerned with business. He is learning about love, about pleasure, about all the things he never knew existed. And as he learns, his feelings for Susan deepen. One night, Susan and Joe share a moment of intimacy. It is slow, gentle, and filled with a sense of magic. For Susan, it is the most beautiful moment of her life. But for Joe, it is something even greater. It is the first time he has ever felt truly human. In that moment, he understands the weight of love, the pain of desire, and the sweetness of being alive. But William cannot let this continue. He confronts Joe, demanding that he leave Susan alone. He tells him that Susan does not love him. She loves the man he took over, the man from the cafe. Joe listens, but his heart is torn. He does not want to hurt Susan, but he does not want to let her go. As William's birthday approaches, everything reaches a breaking point. Joe must make a decision. Stay and take Susan with him, or let her go and return to his true nature. Susan, unaware of the full truth, feels something is wrong. She does not understand why Joe is acting distant, why he seems sad. But on the night of the grand birthday party, she finally sees it in his eyes. He loves her, but he is not meant to stay. Joe tells William that it is time. The deal is over. William knows what this means. He knows that his time has finally come. He accepts it with grace, with dignity. But before he goes, he makes Joe promise one thing: do not take Susan with him. Let her live. Let her love someone who can truly be with her. Joe walks toward the darkness and William follows. They disappear into the night and Susan is left standing alone. But as she looks into the distance, she sees something unexpected. The young man, the man from the cafe, returns. He is confused, lost, as if waking up from a dream. He is not Joe Black. He is the man he was before, the one Susan met that day. Susan looks at him and a soft smile forms on her lips. She knows, somehow, that fate has given her another chance. Not with death, but with life.